There's so many questions about this, like did we give up on Costa Rica, did we move to Brighton permanently, all of that. What is something about pregnancy that you weren't prepared for? Have you thought about how you will raise your children regarding spirituality/religion?
Ooh.
I'm just gonna say the happy baby yoga position. It works, okay? Hello, welcome back to our channel. Welcome to the Dominican Republic. If you missed our last video, we are currently on our baby moon and it has been the most incredible week. We've just been relaxing and connecting, and yeah, go check out the last video at the end of it to see like a little snippet of what it's been like. But
I think this has been possibly one of our best, like, chill, romantic, just the two of us holidays we've ever had.
I think so.
Yeah.
We tried to, that was like the intention, that this, you know, this is our last trip, the two of us, let's really make the most of it and just soak in the sun, the warmth, and just time together, and we've done it. But while we were here, we wanted to do a little Q&A. We asked you guys in the last couple of videos to leave some questions. We also asked on Instagram. We have maybe 300 or 400 questions. So I've tried to scroll through and screenshot some of the ones that have come up the most, that a lot of you have been asking, and a few extra juicy ones. So much is about to change, and I understand that you have a lot of questions.
So
Honestly,
do we.
But yeah, okay, let's get started.
Okay.
First one is from Karen Nate. What age do you think will be his first trip?
Ooh. Firstly, we're flexible because we don't know what's going to happen. I think that's the first thing, is like, there's big question marks around everything, what we're going to feel like, how easy is everything going to be, how hard is everything going to be. But I would say, like, as soon as we're allowed to fly, if we feel like we're up for it, and it's like early summer, we can go somewhere close-ish in Europe, I'm down.
Yeah, basically we're trying not to book anything in for the rest of the year after this trip because, like, yeah, who knows what it's going to be like, so we like the flexibility. But if we can, at least by August, September, I would love to go down to Bulgaria, maybe go to Greece or Italy or something. Like, Europe in the summer is just unbeatable for me, and I'd love to bring our baby.
Yeah.
How many weeks do you have left to go? Today I am officially 30 weeks, so we have about 10 weeks left, more or less. Obviously we don't know exactly, but yeah, it's getting close. Basically like 2.5 months.
It's flown by.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, obviously I'm not the one having to carry the baby, but it seems to have flown by.
Yeah. Okay, there were so many questions about the name. I don't want to tell the name because also we don't really fully know the name. We do have one that you're pretty much locked in on. I'm leaning towards liking it more and more as well. The way that it came up was really cool, okay? We were on a boat in Costa Rica, and I don't even know, we weren't talking about names, we weren't talking about the baby, nothing. I think Lou was just filming something, and it just came to me, and I was like, huh, what do you think of this name? And Lou was like, I love it. And you've basically been sold ever since.
I've been sold ever since.
So part of me feels like there was some, like, divine intervention about how the name just, like, fell into my brain, but yeah, you'll know soon enough. How does Louis feel about the birth? I feel like some men can be worried about seeing their partners give birth.
I mean, I had a unique experience when I was a teenager of seeing my mum give birth to my little sister, which a lot of people are kind of shocked at. But we've been a really close family, and I think I got a pretty
realistic,
extreme understanding of what birth really entails. So I'm not worried about it. I'm really hoping that you're okay.
Yeah. And you want to catch the baby, right? That's
I want to be in there. No. You know what I mean? I want to be close up. You know what I mean.
Amazing. What is your advice for any of us planning to start the pregnancy journey soon? I guess one thing I would say is trying to relax into it as much as you can, especially for the person who's trying to get pregnant. It's really, really important that you're not stressed, because it makes sense. Your body, if you're like stressed out about getting pregnant and fertility and all the things, then your body's like, oh, okay, you're in a stress situation, you're not ready to have a baby, so then you're less likely to get pregnant. So trying to relax, trying to just, I think, let it happen. That was a big thing for me. I didn't want to like be counting the days and ovulation, all that stuff. I didn't want to worry about it too much to start with. And then if we were having trouble, then obviously I would start to do that. But luckily we got pregnant really quick. So I would say try to relax, try to enjoy it too. Like, it's an exciting process. Connect with your partner as much as you can. And then the one thing that I would say, which I've also spoken to other moms about and they agree, I'm just gonna say the happy baby yoga position. It works, okay? Lots of people I've talked to did the same thing, and it worked for everyone I talked to, so.
After.
Yeah. I guess anytime you want. I guess it's a relaxing position, but directly after, I think it creates a happy baby, basically.
Happy baby.
How has Louis helped you through pregnancy? Tips for other men going through it. I have felt extremely supported and cared for. Since the very beginning, Louis was like, I got you, I'll take care of you, and things like taking over a lot of the editing for the videos. We were pretty much splitting it 50-50 before, and he was like, I know this can stress you out sometimes, so I can take over, let me know if you need anything. He'll give me massages if I need it, go get me snacks if I need it, so thank you. Do you have any tips?
Well, I think firstly, women just aren't given up enough credit for what it means to grow a baby. Like, firstly, I can't really wrap my head around how incredible that is in the first place. But secondly, like, I think just the level of like exhaustion your body's going through, and I don't know, I just feel like typically women are expected just to keep going with everything. And a lot of our friends that are the same amount pregnant as Raya are still working full time. And I think that's mind blowing. And I don't know, I've wanted to do everything I can to try and support you.
Thank you. Do you have any tips for other guys?
Early on, accepting I'm really gonna have to kind of step forward and do as much as I possibly can. And I think just being willing.
Will baby take on your brows or Louis'? Either way, the baby wins. Basically, from the very beginning, I've said, I have no idea what this baby's gonna look like, but I do know they're gonna have amazing eyebrows. These are obviously quite shaped. My natural eyebrows are way bigger than this. Louis' eyebrows are huge. I have to give him little eyebrow haircuts at least monthly, so our baby's not gonna have any issue having thick, strong eyebrows.
I've always joked about our baby being born and it's just eyebrows.
Yeah. What is something about pregnancy that you weren't prepared for?
Ooh.
I feel like there's so much that isn't talked about. For example, this morning, my boobs leaked for the first time.
I was like, Raya, are you lactating already?
And I was like, I don't think so, but I was. And apparently that's I literally looked it up and it was like, yeah, totally normal. Never heard of that. I'm only week 30. I had no idea this would happen. So there's so many little things and changes, and there's so much to learn that I feel like we're not taught, and I still don't even know. So much.
Lots of surprises.
Yeah. And there's so many more to come, I know. Will you have any help once the baby comes? So I feel extremely passionate about this because babies were never meant to be raised just by two parents, and usually one parent, because the other parent usually has to go back to work really quickly. Actually, the word parenting wasn't even invented until like I think the 60s or 70s, because before that, people just grew up living with their families and they would raise their cousins, and everyone would always be around to help out. So while our parents are working and we can't really like live with our families, I'm hoping that my mom can come stay for a couple of weeks, and then my dad and sister they can take turns. My grandparents can come visit. Louis' family is only an hour away, and we have friends around as well. So I would love to raise this child with a community. Even before we get to Alegria, how can we create that community while we're in Brighton? Then once we're in Alegria, it's gonna be like effortless. Just all the kids are gonna be running around and parents taking turns and all of that.
This is a quick break in the video to give a huge thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video and sponsoring our channel. We've been using a VPN for years and it's been so useful, especially when we're traveling. It's super easy to use, just click on the location and within seconds, your computer will think you're in a different country. One of our main reasons that it comes in handy is for streaming services. There are so many shows that are only available in certain countries, and with NordVPN, you can watch anything you want. We've talked about how we're binge watching Survivor right now. Season 18 is currently live on the US version of Netflix, but not in the UK or here in the Dominican Republic. So we just turned on the VPN, set it to the US, and got to watch it. Also, some of you may not know that airplane tickets are often different prices depending on where you're buying them from. So we'll often switch our location a few times to see if we're getting the best deal before we buy a flight. Another feature we love about NordVPN is the security it offers, especially when connecting from public Wi-Fi. It can block intrusive web trackers and ads, and when we download files, NordVPN scans it for malware. It also automatically scans URLs and blocks anything malicious. So you can get an exclusive 2-year deal with a bonus gift by clicking our link below and using our code Raya and Louis VPN. It's also risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Right, let's get back to the video.
Are you worried about how your relationship will change between the two of you?
I don't know if I'm worried about it, but that's been my main thing. I'm hoping we can preserve that intimacy and connection. I know baby's going to take priority, and from talking to friends, that is something that is challenging, that the closeness and intimacy does take a back seat. So I feel like that has been something I've been preparing for. Hopefully we can figure out a way, but I think also it's going to be chaos and all our priorities are going to change. So I'm just hoping we can maintain that kind of physical intimacy and closeness and having time just us two. And maybe that's where, going back to a previous question, like having others around supporting us and mums and friends and stuff with the baby, I think that's going to help.
I think also we're extremely lucky that Louis works from home, that we both work from home. So I think that's going to be amazing that we're spending a lot of our time together. I think it would be tougher if you were like going away for 8 to 9 hours, coming home, and then I'd probably just like hand the baby to you because I'd be so exhausted, and then I'd try to nap or something. But the fact that we can kind of tag team all day and like go on walks together throughout the day and stuff, I think will be really helpful. Would you teach the baby to speak any other languages besides English?
Ooh.
Definitely. So I would love your advice on this, because obviously Spanish, we're learning Spanish as well, but we definitely want the baby to know Spanish. And being in Costa Rica, he will learn Spanish because a lot of the schools have both languages as well, and a lot of the kids speak both languages. So that's gonna be pretty easy. But Bulgarian is another one I would love to teach him. That's gonna be a little bit tougher because Louis doesn't speak it. So if I'm speaking to the baby in Bulgarian, Louis not gonna understand. I think a huge thing will be that I'll ask my parents, like whenever they're watching him, to speak to him in Bulgarian. But please, if you have any advice, if you are bilingual, you've taught your kids any other languages, anything would help.
And then for me, I just really want our kid to speak with a British accent. And I don't know how realistic that is. Obviously, it's English, but British English over American English for me. Just because of like my upbringing and everything, I just prefer British
But
English.
also, when you see little kids saying things in British accents, it's the cutest thing ever. So at the very least, I hope that he holds on to a few of the really cute words, like "woah."
I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. But
we'll see.
we'll see.
Are you guys still joining the Eco Village? How's that going? Okay, there's so many questions about this. Like, did we give up on Costa Rica? Do we move to Brighton permanently? All of that. So let's clear things up. I think we tried to explain this earlier, but anyway, we have rented a house in Brighton for this year because we're having the baby in the spring, and then we know that the first few months we want to have a solid home base that is close to friends, close to family, close to anything we need really. So it's
Just easy and convenient.
yeah, so Brighton just felt like the perfect option, and so far it feels amazing. However, we are definitely not giving up on Costa Rica. We still have the land, we're still planning on building. That building is taking a little bit of a pause just because all of our finances are going into this house and the baby right now. But hopefully by the end of this year, we can have some designs ready, and we definitely want to go back by the end of this year / early next year. And if we could start building, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And I think it's fine because this is like a really long-term vision of ours. And I think it's fine that we're not rushing into it. And to be honest, I think we learned when we came at the beginning of last year and felt like we drove all the way down. We're like, cool, we're here, Costa Rica, let's go. And as we've said in previous videos, it's just so far from being this thriving community. And I think there's plenty of time for that to build and grow. And we're so excited to be a part of Alegria. But I think,
Just to give you an idea, I think there's going to be about 300 neighbors altogether, and there's maybe a dozen living on the property now. And when we were there was no one. It was just
we
us.
were the first.
So I think there's quite a lot of people hopefully moving throughout this year. So by the time we get there might be
a small community.
Yeah, exactly. Best advice you got when you shared the news?
I remember Raya's dad, Jojo, saying something along the lines of like, you don't need to let everything change if you don't want it to. Like basically you can just keep living your life and the baby can fit around your life. Now I know there's probably some elements of that you could debate, but I like the attitude that you don't need to completely shift and stop everything. And most of the world don't. Most of the world have babies and just carry on having adventures, doing their thing. So I feel like maybe there would be an adjustment period, but I love that advice that you don't have to freak out like everything's going to stop, all of our adventures, all of our travel.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah. Something I would say, when we were initially telling the news to people, I think maybe I read this somewhere that was like, don't let other moms throw their experience onto you. That was really big for me, because as soon as we told some people, they went straight into like, oh, just wait, it's going to be horrible, you're going to be sick, and like listing all the things that happened to them. And I think just trying to have boundaries around that, just like, thank you, I really appreciate that, but I'm trying to focus on the positives, because you don't even know what's going to actually happen to you. So worrying about things that might happen like that just because they happen to someone else, I think for me, it was really important to just put up those boundaries and focus on like staying positive and optimistic throughout it, and that really helped me. Are you going to renovate the bus at all for a space for the baby?
I mean,
I'd love to.
Yeah, that is one of many things on our to-do list.
Yeah.
It's not high up on the to-do list. I think when we do get to Costa Rica, that's going to be high up on the list of getting the bus ready, probably shifting things around a little bit inside, redoing the interior of the bus.
I would love to almost like completely redo the interior, because it's been a very long time. It's been on quite a lot of journeys, a lot of rattling, and a lot of the things are just like have seen better days. So
yeah. We could do a complete redesign.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun to share with you guys as well. Let us know if you want to see that. What are you most looking forward to about bringing a beautiful soul into this world? I think it's going to be the little moments. It's not going to be these like grand, huge things. I would always envision myself sitting in the audience at my kids' like dance recital or something, and just feeling that pride and joy and seeing something you created with the love of your life. So it's like half of you, half of the person you love most in the world, and you're seeing them discover the world and play, and I don't know, just it's going to be the little moments for me, I think.
Those milestones of like talking for the first time, walking, and then being able to have a whole conversation. Like obviously that's like a couple of years away, but I just can't wait. I'm just so excited about all of that.
I love our friends Kristen and Sia said you basically make a new best friend that you get to just take around the world with you and like go on adventures with. So yeah, I love it. Have you thought about how you will raise your children regarding spirituality/religion?
Ooh. I grew up Christian. It wasn't just a label either. Like I really felt like I had a deeply spiritual upbringing, and I loved that and really benefited from it, in my opinion, especially like the church element of having that community. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, is that I really would love to bring our kids up with a spiritual community. Does it need to be Christian? For me, no. I think there's an amazing exploration of who and what God is from different spiritual perspectives. And being in LA, over the last 5 years almost, we had an amazing spiritual experience and growth, learning from other religions, having Shabbat dinners on Fridays, and then having people from different beliefs and spiritual backgrounds like inputting into our lives. So I really would love that for our kids, to have like a real mix of spiritual input. So yes, I think spirituality is really important.
So I didn't grow up with any religion, but to me, spirituality is also extremely important. And the way that I connect to God, goddess, universe is mainly through nature. Being in nature was always when I felt most connected to source. So I think that's why we're really excited to be in Costa Rica. It's obviously like the most biodiverse country. So I think through the love of nature and other people and the diversity of other people, I think we're gonna like teach our children just to love, really. Because to me, love is kind of the core of what all the religions are trying to spread anyway. So I'd rather let go of the labels and the names and just focus on the love. So yeah, spirituality will be very, very important, but without any specific religious label. Louis, in what ways are you striving to support Raya throughout this pregnancy and beyond, and vice versa, finding balance between your roles?
I think the biggest change for us has been alleviating Raya's kind of feeling of needing to like strategize around earning money for us, because YouTube's been incredible. That's still our main income. And because it's one of those jobs where it's essentially freelancing, it kind of varies month to month. I think there is this slight insecurity around it. Like, you might earn a lot one month, less the next month. So it's like hard to plan ahead. You just have to keep hustling, really.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to alleviate a lot of that. And I think that's the role I want to step more and more into, is that she feels no stress at all around income and where that's coming from. And I can really support us. And maybe that means, and we can talk about this in a bit, but maybe that means less regular videos on our couples channel. Maybe I step more into like getting my channel being the main income and just concentrating on that. So I feel like that's the main shift.
Yeah, because of what we do, obviously I don't get maternity leave or anything like that. And that's been probably my biggest shift too, that basically before I got pregnant, we got married right before we got pregnant. And before that, all of our finances were pretty separate. Like we bought our land 50-50 with our different money, and we've always made money separately as well as together. And I've kind of had to shift my expectation around that it's okay that I might not personally be making a lot for this period of time, but that we're a family together, and I'm pouring tons of energy, and will be so much more once the baby's here, into our family in one way, and making money is another form of energy. So it's okay to not be making like the same amount of money.
Also, I want to say, when brands come to us and want to collaborate and sponsor our channel, this is so amazing for us, and it really supports us being able to live and support our family, our future family as well. And like, I don't know, it's really exciting that we get to do this. And I'm just really, really grateful for you guys watching, for everyone that's subscribed, and for the brands that step forward to like support us.
And for all of your support when we do work with brands. We get such amazing feedback, and we're very selective with the brands that we work with, and you guys can see that. So just thank you.
Thanks.
We really appreciate it. I would like to know your filming plans for all your channels.
Ooh, okay.
Let's start with this channel, Raya and Louie channel. So you may have already noticed that we have started to slow down our uploads. We're hoping to do at least 2 a month, maybe with 1 or 2 extra, depending on how much content we get. But we are trying to slow down a little bit. We might start doing some shorts. Let us know if you're interested in that, maybe in between. But we just want to take the pressure off so that when, especially as I get more and more pregnant and when baby comes, we would love to continue to share, but it means it gives us a little bit of breathing room in case it's like a particularly tough few days or a week or something.
It takes the pressure off,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like the shift will be on our channel as well, just to be more personal.
And almost like a diary of our life and our experience. And for the first couple of months, it'll probably be mainly, you know, what it's like to have a newborn and what we're learning and how we're dealing with it. And then as soon as we can start traveling, we'll definitely be sharing that with you as well. And maybe some van life with the baby things, and we'll see. So
and I'm excited for it to be really as raw and real and personal as we can make it. Obviously there's some boundaries, but I feel like it will be so nice to have that authenticity of like, these are the struggles we've gone through, this is how we've figured things out, and also asking for advice and help, because I'm sure there's loads of seasoned parents out there that could help us with our journey as well.
Yeah.
And then on my channel, I really want to ramp up content. So in December, in the lead up to Christmas, I did a whole series of me road tripping on my own, well, actually with Callie, across the US in my electric van. Really loved making that series, and a lot of you watching really loved it too. So I've got tons of plans. To start with, I have bought a Volkswagen Beetle 1970, and I'm going to convert that to electric to have that as a car in the UK, and I want to take you guys along that journey of me converting that and then doing short little road trips in it. But that's like something I'm really passionate and excited about, and I feel like it'll be a great series on my channel as well. And then, you want to share about?
Yeah, so a lot of you probably don't know that I also have a channel. For years, I was mainly focusing on my YouTube channel, Raya Was Here, and I haven't uploaded to that for a while. Kind of as soon as we started this channel, I didn't have the energy and time to put into that, so I put it on pause. And I would love to start that back up again as like my personal space to talk about pregnancy and motherhood and all the things. To be honest, I've been overthinking the first video back just because it has been such a long break, but Louie's been really supportive, and I think you're right. I think I just need to sit down and just film it instead of having to like make this big comeback thing. Yeah, I think so. On that one, there's no upload schedule. I think it'll just be like whenever I have something to share, I will. What I would definitely highly recommend is on all the channels, especially this channel that you're currently watching on. Hopefully you're subscribed. If you're not already, make sure you are. But make sure you have your notifications turned on, because as we start to slow down, there's a good chance YouTube won't be promoting our videos as well anymore. So if you have your notifications on, then hopefully you won't miss any of our videos.
We would really appreciate you doing that. I know it feels like a lot of creators ask that, but
it makes such a big difference.
It'd mean a lot to us.
Yeah, thank you. How do you feel with your body changing? This is definitely something I want to talk more about on my channel. Something that I've shared a lot on my channel is my struggle with body confidence and loving my body the way it is. And it feels like I was kind of still figuring that out, and now my body is changing so much. So it has been a roller coaster, to be honest. There's moments where I'm in complete awe of the magic of my body, and there's moments where it just doesn't, like when I look in the mirror, sometimes I don't really know what I'm looking at. It doesn't feel like me because it looks so different than how it used to. So yeah, it's a journey. I think I used to think that I would have only love and respect for my body when I was pregnant, and it has been a bit tougher for me than I was expecting. But yeah, I'll talk more about that. And I feel like this needs like multiple videos for me to break it all down, but it's been, yeah, tougher than expected. Okay, there's also so many questions about parenting style, birth plans, and also schooling. And I'm just gonna say, we have pretty much no idea about any of those things. Like, we're starting to figure things out, but we have such a long way to go. So I would love to continue to share these things in future videos.
Well, the birth plan, I think, comes sooner than parenting and schooling.
But even that, like, I would love to have a water birth. That's kind of as far as I've gone. Like, as soon as we get back from this baby moon, I have a lot of different courses I'm going to take and all these different things, and hopefully try to get prepared and get really clear on what I want. So stay tuned. All these things will be talked about in future videos as we figure them out.
There's time.
Yeah. What is one thing you know you will have to give up, and one thing you are not willing to give up? It's a really good one.
The main thing for both of us would be initially the amount of sleep that we both enjoy.
Yeah.
We love sleep. And I think we're just going to have to come to terms with we'll probably be getting half the amount of sleep that we currently do.
Yeah, if we're lucky. Yeah.
If we're lucky.
I would say I understand that I have to give up my love for having everything like clean and tidy and having its place. And I guess that like sense of control when it comes to like the cleanliness of a space. Obviously, I guess living in a van, I feel like has helped me a lot with that. I've had to let go of a lot of those expectations, but I think having a baby is gonna ramp that up a lot, and I just have to be okay with things not being perfectly clean all the time, especially my bed.
I'm trying to think of something that I'm not willing to give up. I mean,
I think just what we love. We kind of touch on this, but like a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's the end of travel for you or whatever.
Yeah.
I've had messages and comments like that. I'm like, we're not giving up what we want to do. We're not giving up our dream of Costa Rica or traveling or van life, any of that stuff. Like, we're going to continue to do what we love. And we know so many people personally who are doing all those things with kids. And we see so many people online and all over the place that are doing all those things. So it's clear that it's possible. It's just about choosing to do it.
And being flexible and figuring it out. And I don't think, I'm trying not to be too like, I'm definitely doing it this way. I feel like we can figure it out.
Yeah, I think it will look different, and it will look different than we're used to for sure, but it doesn't mean that we have to give it up altogether.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
It's been really nice getting all the questions, being able to share more with you guys, and hopefully we can do more of these as things adjust and change on our channel, that we can just do more sit down, chatty, catch up, vulnerable conversations, and I've really loved sharing. And if you're not subscribed already, please do, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye!
Bye!